I went on a trip, just a trip, and I came back with HIV. Later, I found out that the man who was so gentle, so caring, the one I fell for, he planned the whole thing from the start. My name is Emily. I've loved traveling since high school. The first time I saw the crystal clear waters of the Maldives, stepping onto that soft white sand as the sun set, I knew I'd never stop. Traveling was my thing that in my last semester of college, I skipped the internship. My parents helped me get a job that existed on paper so I could spend a year traveling. I thought it was the perfect ending to my youth. But my friends all had their own plans, grad school, jobs. So I started looking for travel companions online. I was nervous at first, that traveling with strangers, but we video chatted for weeks. Everyone seemed normal. There were 6 of us, me, another girl, and 4 guys. One of them was an experienced hiker. We called him the guide. Another one was good-looking and confident. Let's call him Jake. Then there was Mark Truby, short, barely talked, and a cowboy. Before we left, we exchanged addresses and photos of our IDs. I thought this should be safe enough. The first half of the trip was great. Every time we hiked a difficult trail, Jake was there to help me that we got close. He joked around. One day, I got my period and felt terrible. He drove to town by himself to get me painkillers. I was genuinely touched that he seemed kind, thoughtful, reliable. Then, one day, I dropped my phone into a creek. It wasn't expensive, but it had all my travel photos on it. The guide said it was too dangerous to go back. I was heartbroken, but I accepted it and started walking. A few minutes later, Jake noticed how down I was. He told the group to wait, that he was going back with me to look for the phone. Otherwise, I won't enjoy the rest of this trip. I was surprised, touched that we found the phone in the creek. Screen was shattered that he said maybe a repair shop could recover the photos. That was it. I fell for him. Climbing back up from that creek, we held hands that no one said a word. But we both knew that night at camp, we set up tents on a hillside. Around 10 p.m., everyone else was asleep. Jake came to me. The moon's bright tonight. Wanna go look at the stars? We climbed over a small ridge, laid down a blanket, and lay there under the sky. He told me how much he liked me, how strong and independent I was. I thanked him for everything. We kissed that we ended up in his tent. That night, there were so many stars, so many, I thought the whole sky was watching. The others teased us when they found out, but Mark looked strange. I asked if he was okay. He shook his head, said nothing. It helped him with a cut on his leg earlier, and he'd been grateful. But he was quiet, so I didn't think much of it. From then on, Jake and I shared a tent. but Mark kept acting off. A few times, late at night, he'd come find me. He'd just say, "Be careful," nothing else. The third time he came, I pressed him. He finally stammered out, "Watch out for Jake." I thought he was jealous. I thought he liked me and was trying to stir up drama. I didn't take it seriously. 4 days later, the trip ended. I thought we were together now. But on the last day, he said, "What happens on the road stays on the road. We should just go back to our normal lives." I was stunned. I wanted to ask something, but I didn't even know what to say. Back home, he ignored my texts. He dodged my questions about visiting. I stared at my phone, trying to understand how someone could change so fast. Then, out of nowhere, Mark contacted me. He was hesitant, but he told me to get tested, and then he blocked me. I had no idea what he was talking about. Soon after, I started getting sick. Low fevers during the day, high fevers at night. The clinic gave me IVs, but I'd relapse after a couple of days. I went to the hospital. They ran blood tests. When the results came back, my mind went blank. HIV positive. End. It was too late for the preventive treatment. I'd be on medication for life. I sat in that hospital hallway, gripping the paper. People walked past me, but I couldn't hear anything. I didn't even think of Jake. I thought maybe my ex had given it to me. I looked myself in my room, replaying the trip over and over. But all I could see were the sweet moments. The painkillers, the phone, the stars. And then, one day, Jake texted me, "How's your health?" My blood ran cold. I knew. I asked him if he had HIV. He sent back a smiley face emoji. I called blocked. I texted blocked. I tried to reach the guide and the couple, also blocked. I kept messaging Mark, begging for an explanation. A few days later, he called me Dot. His voice was exhausted. He told me the guide, Jake, the couple, they all had HIV. They'd all been infected on previous trips by other people doing the same thing. And now they'd formed a group. They used travel as their cover. They infected others to get back at the world. Mark had been infected too. This was his first time participating. He said during the trip, I was kind to him. I had bandaged his leg, asked how he was doing. He couldn't bring himself to go through with it. He tried to warn me 3 times, but I didn't understand. He also said everything was fake, that the IDs we exchanged forged. The addresses? Fake. They met online. None of them knew each other's real identities. I hung up. I sat there for a long time. The sky outside went dark, then light again. I don't know how long passed. I went to the police. Without real names, real addresses, there was nothing they could do. Now, I live on medication. I'm learning to take my pills on time, to look at myself in the mirror, to accept what's changed forever. And I'm rethinking that trip. Not to blame myself, but to look at that girl who was so ready to fall for a little kindness. She wasn't stupid. She just didn't know that sometimes someone's warmth is just a blade wrapped in sugar. I'm not telling this story for sympathy. I'm telling you this: when you travel, don't fall for someone just because they're there. Travel is travel. Don't team up with strangers, no matter how experienced you think you are. And never trust someone you just met with something you can't take back. Keep your guard up, not always, because some mistakes, you only get to make them once. And me, I'm still learning how to live with mine.